get out of that. We got a trials run to do. Now, the nice thing about this trials run is this is a real trials run. We don't have to hold back at all. We don't have to hold back at all. So, what we got? This is, oh, I didn't even look at the restriction. Strength 9 or higher. That is not what we had last time. Let's turn that off. Or Cura, yes. Yes. This is where we want to go. We want Brit. Okay. Oh, wait, this is... Oh, no. We're fine. We got EO8 favorite. We got EO8 favorite. Or EO8 gold time, excuse me. Okay, so Grandma. Brit. Bench building? No. There's no such thing as a bench building. There's a champion search feature. But that wasn't made for me. And that's fine. We come out on the second last level, is it? No. Variant was that? It was Relentless Peril in Avernus. Relentless Peril. I did have that on the list already. Yes. Yes, okay. We still got to do that for a couple more champions. Or for a couple more patrons. I'm going to do that for both Mirth and Vajra. No, Mert. Mert and Vajra. Globals here. Reset. I'm going to do efficient spending. More. Wow. Okay. No, it's just going to get fast. I could tell already. Fine. Such weird pricing variations. Right. This is a weird break. One from you, so odd. Okay. 21 on 42. All right, so we're through tier 5 on globals just from that. So safe to say that if we get it for the other, it'll do the same over here. And here. All right. Wait. Miss. Well, Category's not a speed champion. Why did I click her? Oh, that's right. We need... Oh. Do an hour. And we're going to do an hour of gold find. Like, first trials run is almost also kind of like a favor run, so. Good news is, well, no, that wasn't good news. Never mind. Ignore me. We have no good news. There is no good news. Never mind. Stupid green. Oh no, no Astarion? Dare they? Mike, but that's where my gold comes from. I need my gold. I just looked and okay, good. Devik, it's this. Click the Swippy Swami button. Steer on. Two of the hotkeys. I think any requests for hotkeys are going to be filed in the when we get a chance in the and their response will be when we get a chance to finally put in customizable hotkeys. But they've talked about how that's not going to be. It's going to take a lot of work. That's not high on their to-do list right now. I'd love to see it. I wouldn't get too excited about something like that. Is there deep? We don't have a DPS here. That's what's okay. Minsk. 0. Okay, now we have DPS. Yeah, Z for search. That makes sense. There's the answer. Yeah, it's like the cryptex. You can just scroll. You can use your scroll wheel in here, just like you can in the cryptex. Really should have Penelope in here, but where would Penelope go? Hero spot. No, over here. That's better. So this is what? Strength 9 plus 9 plus speed. Sure. The closest thing I can. Yeah, it's got speed champions in it. Sure. So our goal here is, unlike last time where we were doing a trial solo and we were trying to hit a very specific bud window, E187. I wanted between E185 and E200, and I prefer to hit E187. We nailed it. It worked. That's specifically for soloing and soloing only. For tier 1, for normal. Soloing normal so that you can get a couple achievements, which we got. Now our goal is literally to put up the highest damage we can do. If we can soft camp our champions on this run, great. Then we don't necessarily have to do another run unless we just want more favor for the conversion. But if we can't soft cap our champions, we could consider doing another run. Part of that is going to be, what do these other people put up? What do they put up on the board? Because you never know. You never know. It is interesting. Like 4 of us at least were online when this started. This person Beep can come back later. It's fine. It's Beep's campaign. So hopefully everybody throws down some decent numbers. But, you know, keep in mind, we soloed tier 1 and the health isn't that far off. So if we can throw down more than, if we can clear E200 this time, just ourselves, we should have this. It might take 7 days, but that's fine. That's fine. You have a journal excellent make us. Well, I didn't. Yeah, we have assault party damage. I honestly would rather they hadn't put assault party damage. I'd rather they just. What did we get? Did we get all the scales maxed out at least? We got a scale. We got A scales here. I threw mine in. No, we didn't. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we got some assault party damage. People threw some stuff down. I guess I could start throwing some stuff down. Sure, I don't care on this account. Why not? Let's just use everything. Everything every time. That's what I'm gonna do. It's not me. I put in my Makos. Don't look at me. Uh, yeah, so, you know, I mean, I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine. This is to, I put in my Makos. I submitted Makos for this. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's a problem, Nathalis. That's a problem to bring up to them. For sure. For sure. Definitely needs to read, you know, the feed thing. And also, I'm still on team just show the items all the time without needing hover, including in here. But so far, I'm only restricted out of one champion that I really want for this. What was I saying? I was saying that, yeah, they need the feed in the champion search. They also need to just show all the items without me hovering over stuff. There's no need for me to. I shouldn't have to hover to get the items. They should just show the item. You got the name on here. The picture's fine. It's not blocking too much. Plus, you're just showing the picture in the bigger portrait anyway. So just show the freaking items in the name. And do that. And then do that in here. Because again, you got the name. So just. I mean, we don't even have the name out here. Can we get the name out here too? Can you imagine? All that quality of life, just the names of champions right there on the screen. Yeah, I mean, look, give them that feedback till time. You got to do it all like in the first week it releases, or else they think they're done and they do a pass and then they move on to something else. So get it all out. Let them have it. Well, it does work, Hawketh, but not if you go slow. Right? It's kind of there. There's a trigger here somewhere. Now, if I go fast, it shows. But if I'm on the creep, I don't know that this matters. But if I'm on the creep, there's like a speed. It's like a Dune personal shield. If I go slow enough, I get right through it. So, quality of our lives. It's look, it's our time out here. Anyway, the whole issue of, you know, they don't show up all the time. Whatever, it would go away if they're just there all the time. You just put the gear there all the time. And all these issues go away. And remember, this is day one, folks, of trials, so we continue after the goal. We don't care about the goal area on day one. Day one, we push as far as we can and get as much we get as much damage as we can. Is it only from the bottom? Yeah. Slow creep from the side. Turn it on. Slow creep from the side, from the top. Yeah, it's only a slow creep from the bottom that gets through the shield. It's so weird. But yeah, the complaint shouldn't be if I go real slow, it doesn't come on, because then they'll just fix that. The complaint should be the items just need to be shown all the time. Just need to be shown all the time. The Doom thing? I mean, it is in the books where they're wearing the shields and you got to slow down so that it's the shields, I guess, are meant to stop projectiles like bullets and stuff. So you got to attack with like in melee and like short or for slow enough, or throw something just slow enough that it can penetrate a shield. If it's too fast, it bounces right. I don't need to see these portraits. These portraits, I think these portraits are fine. I don't need to see. I've got their name. That's the thing. I have the name. I have the name. I don't normally have the name, but even then, like, you got to remember, if you're trying to compare it to these, you got to remember that this is a narrow bench box setup. If you remember, the default setting is not narrow bench boxes. Where do we change that again? This is the default setting, and it's a nice fat square portrait, which is what this emulates. Right? That's what we're looking at here. So this is the normal look, and this is a perfect scaled down version of this. There just aren't narrow bench box. They don't make these narrow. They could make them narrow to make them look like a narrow bench box, but I don't know what that really accomplishes. It just shows less of the picture. The only reason people want less down here is so you can fit it all without having to scroll. So, I don't know. But again, I don't need, I just want information here. I don't need if I've got the name, I don't need like a full clear portrait, especially when just to the right of my cursor is a gigantic portrait without that information on it. So. The top of the champion list so to cover the other champions. Well, here's the problem with that. As the game gets bigger, as there more and more things end up in the bench slot, like I have a feeling they'll expand up. I don't think they're going to expand to the left and the right a whole lot. I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked. What is it on a box when there's 10 in a box? And does it go up or does it go wide? This is this goes wide. This goes pretty wide. 6. Does it just keep getting wider? If it does just go wide, but eventually it will have to go up. I don't know. I guess I don't really care about where the tooltip goes. But that's fine. My issue is I want information. I want the information of the items. It just needs to be there the whole time. I don't need to hover over it to get that. You didn't make the game that way down here. I don't have to hover down here to get the items to show up. So why do you make the search feature that way? Max is 6 wide? Okay. But yeah, eventually they'd run out of space if they make it go at the top. So I think that's planning ahead. It may not matter right now, but it's they just do it once right now, and then they don't have to change it again in a few years. They do them? No. Never mind. It's still launch order. Release, it's still release order. That's what they're organized by. I think there's an argument that the champion on the left should always be the core champion, but I also, I guess maybe I like a setting where it's just alphabetized. Release order makes the, makes it the core, your core 12. But alphabetized would be nice. We'd have so much more gold now if I had a star. What? So bad. Oh well. Yeah, so the variants that came out today are varied. There's many, and they're varied. They're variants. See, Grand Tour of the Sword Coast, we get Emperor Vecna Lives off of Vecna Lives. Charisma 13 or lower, basically. Off Vecna Loots, there's a very well equipped. Only champions with at least 4 epic equipment or better may be used. Oh, that's fine. Oh, and then you lose 3 formation slots. That's it. Icewind Dale. Ending the Rhyme variant. Baldur's Gate Expatriates. Only champions from Heroes of Baldur's Gate are absolute adversaries. Okay. And then another Baldur's Gate Expatriates. Same restriction, but bosses deal 500% additional damage. While Beyond the Witchlight, the Magical Rings of Thither is a variant. And you gotta use champions with a magic base attack. And then there's no damage none of the time. You may only use champions with an ability score of 78 or less, and you may not use any champions with the DPS tag. That one's going to force you to break out the super secret DPS club, folks. There's a number of members of it. Paulton was an early member. Hitch is an iconic member. Penelope is now a member. Oh, yeah, the Dark Urge is available. Like I was saying, super secret DPS club. I don't want to guess. I don't know. Try it. See, you might do better with somebody else. Light of Xerxes. We got Con Crud. Oh no. Non-boss areas non-Vecna cultist members are immune from damage until all Emperor Vecna cultists are defeated. They spawn Emperor Vecna cultists. Constitution 13 or lower. And there's one called Modal Nodes. Only champions with a ranged base attack and deal damage. Can't remove champions from the formation after area 25, so set it and forget it. And after every 50 areas, a random non-bard champion is removed from the formation and can't be used for the rest of the adventure? So then the idea here is to use bards And a ranged bard is your DPS. I don't. That one seems. Okay, you can't remove champions from them. Oh, well, no, you can add champions. It just says you can't remove champions. Okay, that's fine. You can add champions. You can replace people. That's fine. Okay. But ideally, you want a ranged base attack bard as your DPS. Do we even have that? Yes, this is why they released the champion search feature, so they can do this kind of shenaniganry. Base attack. Ranged. But this is why I just want to give me the campaign, and then let me select the variant, and then let it just show me who's qualified. Class, Bard. No. No. Paulton, I guess, is your super secret deep. Isn't magic range? No, that's magic. Paulton would be the super secret DPS option here. But I mean, I don't know. That one's just going to be weird. No, there's a difference. There's melee base attacks, there's range base attacks, and there's magic base attacks. Now, when it comes to deflecting things from Rosie, she will deflect both ranged and magic. But those are two different things. Those are two different things. Calliope has a ranged ultimate, but she has a magical base attack. You can see it on the bottom left, magic. Showing nerds is wrong? Well, submit a ticket, I guess. I don't know. I don't pay attention to nerds. Oh, yes, if you have a Vondra and you're doing Witchlight stuff, you can have her bring in the rest of her team. But the Wildband and Witchlight stuff, that's not. We were just talking about Xerxes. So in Xerxes, you'd have Vin Ursa and Commodore Crux. No, Athalis, I don't know. She's not shooting a gun. Her gun is her magical focus. It's not. She doesn't actually fire projectiles. She fires magic out of it. It's a spell focus. She takes her magical components. Canonically, she takes her magical components, shoves them in the barrel, and pulls the trigger, and magic comes out. Because it's a spell focus. She's a caster. Yeah, it's not showing nerds because it's looking at the base version. For those of you wondering why nerds isn't shown. Nerds is melee default. So you'd have to get in and then you change the spec to ranged for nerds to function. And then I don't know what happens at that point. It should stay in, but who knows? It might read the base default instead of the current. I don't know. All right, Turn of Fortune's Wheel variant, Tomb of Champions 2, Funky Fandango. Shouldn't have been Electric Boogaloo. 300, area 300 within 30 minutes. Fire Breath Potions can't be used, and click damage has no effect after Area 5. Okay. Speedrun. And then the last one is Mixing It Up. After Area 25, you can't add, move, or remove champions. After 50 areas, champions not in the front column are randomly placed in the formation. Okay. So you can't use champions with positionals. You got to use generals. Okay. Generals. How are two swords range? I don't know what you mean. Who are you talking about? I mean, look, if you take your sword and you throw it, it's a ranged weapon. It's all about how they use whatever they're using for a base attack. Hitch is a stabby boy, but then he can become ranged as well by throwing daggers. Desmond has 2 swords and a crossbow on his back is just considered ranged because his base attack is ranged. This is about what their base attack is, folks. I don't know why is everybody just in a pissy mood and trying to like be like, well, but they look like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they look like. What matters is what is their base attack? What does it say it does? It doesn't matter. Like, she could pull out a gun. She could be holding a staff, but then pull out a gun and fire it. It'd be ranged. I don't understand. It's not their visual drawing of the character has nothing to do with what their base attack is. You just have to look at what this icon is. If it's a sword, it's a melee attack. If it's this little magic missile icon, it's magic. And if it's the arrow tip, it's ranged. They've always been there, and they're here. When you hover over them, they're down there in the bottom left corner. Yeah, there's touch-based magical spells in D&D, but that's not what we're dealing with here. I don't know that we have anybody who uses a touch spell as their base attack. They've made the decision that those 3 things are 3 separate things. There's magic attacks, there's ranged attacks, and there's melee attacks. And it has nothing to do with the way the model looks, and everything to do with whatever it says their base attack does. I don't know that people are overthinking it. I think people are underthinking. This is not new. This game has always been this way. So I don't know why. I don't know why suddenly this is an issue that people are. Oh my god, this isn't matching this. Well, it doesn't. The game has always worked this way. It's never been any different. Never been anything different. Everything's always about what is their default ability. They can change their abilities later. Gromma, currently, melee attacker. If I changed her into a Melf's Acid Arrow, she'd become a ranged attacker. Well, magic, excuse me. She'd become a magic attacker because it would splash out this spell. Again, as Hitch levels up, he gets daggers that he throws. It's added to the base attack, so he becomes melee and magic. Archon, depending on how many people are overwhelming him, like or attacking him, can change from a melee attack to a ranged to magic because it's fire breath. That's what it is. I don't use Archon. Dark Urge is melee, despite being a sorcerer. He uses a knife. He's a stabby boy. And if you choose his left spec, the first specialization choice, it's got a magic AoE that booms off of it. So he then becomes melee and magic at the same time. This is all just read the base attack. There's always been this way page. Why do cooldown reductions on Artemis's base attack stop at 1.18 seconds rather than 1 second? Doesn't seem to line up with animation speed. Well, it does. You just, I mean, it must, because that's what it's taking it down to. So what's more likely the case is that the animation takes 1.18 seconds. But maybe there's some frames in there that are standing still frames. That's all I can say. That's I mean I would yeah. There's 0.18 seconds of standing still frames, which is not much. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. So that's why it would stop at that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean the minimum you can reduce a base attack to is whatever their actual animation speed is for their base attack. Why would a druid hit you with a stick? Shillelagh. Shillelagh. It's literally his base attack. Shillelagh. This is a magical. Druids get a magical ability called Shillelagh that they cast on a stick, and it becomes a magical weapon, and they hit things with it as a melee attack. That's a druid. That's a druid special, and that's what he uses. He uses a Shillelagh, and he melee attacks. This isn't D&D, folks. Once again, I want to repeat. Maybe we got to go back to the core foundations. D&D. Oh, cantrip isn't magic. The cantrip is something you cast before. You can cast it in combat. You're not casting on a person. You're casting it on a stick. And then you're beating people with the stick. That's a melee attack. Please don't. This is not a button to press, folks. This is... If you truly don't understand, I'm trying to explain, but if you're just trying to get Gar angry, that doesn't work out well here. I'll just turn the stream off. I don't care. I will go do something more relaxing. All you have to do is read it, folks. All you have to do is read it. But this is about what they're doing with their base attack. This is not Dungeons and Dragons. This is Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. It is a video game themed around Dungeons and Dragons, but that does not mean it is an accurate representation of Dungeons and Dragons. It's themed off Dungeons and Dragons. The most confusing one for me is Desmond. He's holding two swords and then he puts them away and pulls out his crossbow. And they've said before, yeah, maybe that probably wasn't a good idea. So, yeah. But ultimately, in the design process, they talk to the content creators that make these champions, or they look at the champion, they theme it, and then they get approval from Wizards of the Coast, because none of this gets improved without nothing gets in the game. It's like character based without his stamp. And honestly, like for Dinar, yeah, the first thing he would do he would try to avoid combat by commanding people, so his command makes sense. Like they try to come up with things that make sense for the character, regardless of what their base gear looks like. So yeah. I said Shillelagh, Necronus, Shillelagh. Rama could always become a magic attacker. If you picked her swamp spec, she became a magic base attacker. But she remains a default melee attack champion for purposes of, say, character search. She stays a melee attacker in character search, no matter what. I can't click magic and see Brahma. Yeah, the black pigment is DPS. Green is support. Blue is tanking and red is healing. Swamp Spec, the old Swamp Spec was really good. It wasn't always, but then, a lot of the meta supports that came into the game just really worked well with Gromma and turned Swamp Spec into something that was pretty great. So again, Nathless, it's canonically in the store in the C team. He carries Toothbrush around, but he would, whenever a fight would start, rather than pulling out his sword and trying to kill people, he would just boss people around because he's a royalty. So in his mind, what people? No, I tell people what to do and they do what I tell them to, and that's so he has command, and that's how they would get around it. And Letty asks, stars are physical things. Stars are physical things. Stars aren't magic. They don't. It's not like somebody casts stars and like she's taking physical stars and throwing them at you. I guess the difference is like it's the difference between casting Melf's minute meteors and literally grabbing a meteor out of the sky and throwing it at you. Right? One's magic, the other's ranged. So it's just like, who are you dealing with? Who are you dealing with here? Nathalis, Dinar canonically is royalty. He bosses people around. He uses command that way to stop combats, or at least at the start of combats. He tries to just do that before he pulls out Toothbrush, because he did pull out Toothbrush on some occasions, but usually it was for big fights. Most of the time, just bossing people around. Just bossing people around, because he's royalty. Dilettante, that would be a familiar, or at least a pet, or an ultimate call for Fern Calloway from Critical Role. She's got a flaming monkey that she can pull out. That's her is her pet. And early on in the campaign, it threw flaming piles of poo at people. Now it's got a gun. It shoots them into the hand, stuff into the barrel, pull the trigger. It's pretty ridiculous. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times they're using whatever was canonically in the live play shows, and they're translating that into video games, with the approval of the content creators that created it. The only time where they're making their own decisions is more, seeing the original champions. Otherwise, if it's something canonical from D&D, they have to get Wizards of the Coast to sign off on it. What are we doing on Penelope stats? She's basically my gold pen champion. EO4. That's why this is going slow. Yeah. Yeah, losing a star in here just sucked for gold find, but I'm realizing I probably should have popped one of these. Hoping an hour would be enough, but I should have known better. Should have known better. Today is just a day of mistakes. First it was trying the Strahd's thing before doing the others, and now it's not popping the right speed potion. We gotta remember, I gotta treat it like a deep favor run, even though not exactly what it is. That's what we're missing. Oh, I'm so bad. Could pop that from the beginning too. See you, Lydia. Speed potions. We got an epic coming from a pity timer here. Camilla. Well, we got a speed potion, so at least we got something good. Oh, a feat for Grandma. Take it. Oh, I've never over-leveled Grandma? Now I'm upset. Now I'm upset. I can't believe that. Alright. Well, shoot. Shoot. But, oh. Yeah. Shevik, Diana at 400. Like, if you have Diana max, she makes things so much faster in normal gem runs. She makes faster in general, but I've been trying to add her to my normal speed teams, and yeah, it's a big deal. We're going to have to switch to a pushing party soon. Because we're basically at the end of this. End of this formation's damage range. Alright. Damage formation. What do I want? I want Gromlin out here. Carlock, that's not. I wonder how often that's going to happen. agree. If you want Dex, what? The other last, which she qualifies for. Different Penelope. Do we do Dragon Bait or do we do Tyrell? Okay. We can actually reaching her? Yes. And we need another formation. That is Gold Find. Okay. Charles Axel. Nice. I really want Dirty Gold Find, but I don't have anything better than. Oh, you know what? I was using Shandy. That's right. Egbert. That's stuck. I don't want to choose yet. Human can be here. Tritzed. Alleyway. Can't use that. We would still do Penelope. And now we gotta fill in the gaps, I guess. Really gotta do like this. Sure. Oh, that was not even. It doesn't matter. She's not really tanking. So first spec choose. Whatever. Okay. Range now plus 30 gold. Okay. Pushing group activated. Yes, nice. Rocket. Now we're cooking with gas. All right. I need to upgrade those. Unless it's in the pushing team. Oh no. Are we Bud's Buggy? We are. Worst. Oh my god. All right. All right. Yeah, Necronus, I mean it's one step in the right direction. It just needs to always show the item levels. It just needs to always look like that. There's no and then honestly, I want the names out here on these now too. It's just so nice to see their names after 6.5 years. Well, I mean, if we're cooking in gas, then we're talking about propane and propane accessories. Dang it, Bobby. The moon at the top of the portrait? Hmm. Well, they've got that little black box down there, and I think that's what they want. That little shading. They want the name off that so that it pops visually, and that's fine. E-money now. 190. Up, up, up. Our gold look like a E23 Bahamut's favor. Come on, drop the bag. There you go. Knew you could do it. Hey, Dice Goblin. Yeah, it's not called the bench builder anymore. They changed the name to Champion Surge. That boy ain't right. I don't know, Larking Rider. I don't know if anybody's said it yet. I mean, it's Zimaruski, isn't it? Isn't it with a Z? Isn't it Bobby Zimaruski? Could be wrong. I always heard it as Zimaruski. $197. So I'm putting up a decent number. Not wow, they're doing solid. 368 for tier 2. Good job. Probably an Artemis formation. Well, I don't know why they didn't just, what they should have done is like augmented reality. If people wanted more information, you just take your camera, you hold it up to the game, and then have it show more information based off what you're focusing it on, right? That's clearly the easiest solution to all of these. Everybody's got phones. Oh, man. I have yet in my life to use an augmented reality anything. Ever. Mm. Now, see, that's neat, Dilettante. Sure. If it worked like all the time, from any angle, like for hiking and outdoor stuff, yeah, sure. He is from any angle. An app like that for constellations, that's neat. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of neat stuff. I just have never clearly worked with any of that kind of stuff. That's today, isn't it? But we forgot about the sketching hour today. Oh my god. Speed potion more. But I should have used an epic. Should have used an epic. How much do I think we're gonna keep going? I don't even know. I've got 199 as my contribution, which is bumped up to 278 thanks to assault party boosts. I mean, I think we're gonna smoke this dragon. Some hickory and maybe some cherry. Might be a nice mix. I think I'd like to try to soft cap everybody and then we'll look at what the damage numbers are. I think that's probably the best idea. All right, Sergeant. Thanks for hanging out. I didn't mean to hit that. So Dilettante, I got Azaka's golden epic on her gold item just because that made sense to me. Um, and then I grabbed the pirate skins. And I grabbed Diana's Strawed Feet. I grabbed that on both accounts. Having Diana as a speed champion in Strahd? Yes, please. So out of all of that, I highly recommend getting Diana's feet right away. Having a speed champion available in a patron that they're not currently available in seems like good idea. Seems like a good idea. Beyond that, I mean, I figured, hey, free golden epic on Azaka. And yeah, I mean, I need more support pigments, obviously, but I don't know. Wow, smoking a gold dragon. Why would we know? Gold dragons are the good dragons. Oh no. You want Tiamat lurking around? This is how you get Tiamat. Tiamat shows up. Well done. But you can't. But if we're smoking it, you can't. That would okay. Get where you're going. What is the smoker? There's no medium or medium well or any of that. Okay, we're soft capped. We should probably also rage cap. See what happens. Oh, 5 stacks. Great. We'll pause it here on 624 and we'll see what kind of damage we can throw down. I mean, that's going to be our biggest kind of damage bonus. The only thing that we can boost damage with is the Holy Avenger and Empty the Quiver in this formation. Here's the problem, though. Lurking Rider, it's if there is a bad gold dragon and then you kill it and you're cooking it and people show up, how do you prove they were a bad gold dragon? How do you prove that? You can tell people that, but I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna listen. Hmm. This is what we're watching. And they don't get to eat at the barbecue, clearly. I think it's more they'll call in reinforcements and you're going to be in trouble or something. Just claim it's a red dragon. I know. I think Gales would stop the heat from going through. You would have to take them all off first. But then how do you explain the pile of golden scales? And then golden scale armor that you'd be making. It's one thing, you know, when they talk about, oh, they've got dragon scale armor. Do they always canonically show the colors correctly? Because wouldn't bad people have metallic dragon scale armor, and good people would have chromatic dragon scale armor? I think red dragons are at least resistant to fire. But I don't know that. I think it's the scales that protect them from the flames and the heat, maybe. But once you take the scales off, I would imagine the meat would cook just like anything else. Scaled red. I took him off an evil fighter. It was dead when I found it. It's the argument about like, was it roadkill or were you poaching? No, it was dead when I found it. I'm not going to leave good meat lying around to rot. Oh boy. Oh, this takes forever when there's no speed potions. I think there's, we're not really seeing any bile stacking up either. Is that me? Yes. Already up over E210. We're not even maxed out. That's nice. Just want to get our max contribution on day one, and then we'll be out of here. So just gotta wait for this to stack up to 100. Barge Forge, I don't remember, but it's in my guide now. I did update the split the party guide for both split the party 1 and split the party 2 with this on this run. Slightly deranged, it depends. The core that you would want to buy, well, strong core would be if you're a Carlock main and you're doing Carlock DPS. A strong core is the best core for Carlock. Unaffiliated core is the best core for unaffiliated DPS like Birdsong and Zorbu. There might be others, but those are the two that jump to the front of my mind at the moment. They make good work of the unaffiliated core. So if you're not really using Kron would work for unaffiliated. Kron might work for strong as well. If those aren't your DPS champions, then there's no need to spend 500,000 gems on one of these cores at the moment. But, you kind of got to figure that out, right? So it's not so much a flat, recommendation as where do you feel you are? Okay, each 223 is a pretty solid number. Let's take that into the fight against the tree. Just ramp up all of the debuffs. Best we can. Maybe E225. That's solid. E230 with the last hit. Excellent. Let's just grab some quick gold here. And then we're going to be out of here. We're going to be out of this one. Well, I don't use Artemis, but yeah, Artemis would be an unaffiliated, I think. I don't think it'd be strong. I think it'd be under affiliated. Pushing team with Artemis. I mean, I can't help you with that. Can't get past 210. Is it all about legendary leveling up to level 5? No. But legendaries, I mean, that is going to be a lot of power eventually. Artemis needs item levels. Like, his whole team needs item levels. He needs the most. And there's a formula for that. So, I don't know if you've done your item levels yet. I don't do Artemis. I don't like his gameplay, so I'm not the best person to talk about Artemis stuff. But I do know that he needs lots of item levels, and if you don't have those item levels, he's not really going to deliver. He kind of just wants continuous item levels forever and ever, but you got to, figure out a way to balance that with speed champions and other stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you're using Artemis, then the unaffiliated core might be worth your time, but for those 500,000 gems, if your Artemis isn't at average item level 1,000, that may be where you want to put your gems for a bit. Because that's... But then to get there, you really want to put your gems in speed champions first. Like, do you have a speed gem farming team yet? Like, are they maxed out on what gems they need? Like, there's this whole thing in the mid game where you've got to balance your ability to push alongside your ability to farm gems. But I'd just like to say, I mean, I'm not dealing with an Artemis team, and I just threw down E230 DPS without really any. This is single digit item level Carlock. So this is why I say Artemis isn't necessarily the best when you're starting. But it can be eventually. He needs a huge investment in item levels. So there's a lot of things. In the mid game, there's a lot of things you have to do all at the same time. And you got to find a balance for that. I can't tell you exactly which one thing is going to give you the best progress right now because I don't really know. I don't use Artemis. B, I don't, because I don't think he's the one true thing that everybody wants him to be. Yeah, I mean, mid game there is a bit of a stuck to mid game. It's just kind of how mid game works to a certain degree. You've got to progress so much power in so many different places. I have a guide to progression. If you go over and hold on, let me just link it instead of linking to the whole thing. Like, there's a lot of things in that you've got to keep an eye on. Does some of it, but then you'll want to check like Patrons 101, Gem Farming 101 is probably a good place to go. Speed Champions 101, Patrons 101, all those things kind of start. All of that stuff in the mid game starts becoming important. Blacksmithing contracts 101 to know how to throw those down. Yeah. All right, so mine is 542. This must have been after they completed, so that wasn't as good as I thought it was. I thought they were still in their run. I threw down 237, E237 total damage. That was good. Good for me.